Welcome back to the Morgan Streetman Show. About this time, we love to go out there. And boy, is it out there. Everything that's gone on between anything with the word Jeffrey Epstein associated with it is out there. The latest is Prince Andrew's reaction to how he's been roped into all of this.
Oh, I know. And well, you've got to go out there and try and watch the video, the BBC interview. This was not a wise thing for Prince Andrew to have done, apparently. And even his media relations people, I know one of them resigned right before he decided to do this. He felt it was necessary. Now, typically the royals have the ability to get the news organizations not only to give them fairly softball interviews, which they did, but also to give them the questions in advance so that they can prepare. Now, that didn't occur, is what I've heard. But, he had a very interesting defense of his position, which is, a number of things. Because, we all know he's out there and he's got that photograph with him and Virginia Roberts Giuffre where he's got his arm around her waist and she has her arm around his waist. And, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell is in the background. There are a number of other photographs involving him and young women as well in various states of embrace. But he goes on television and says that he believes that photograph of him must have been faked because he doesn't hug in public. Well, then several UK publishers came out with, just a series of the photographs where he was hugging in public and, kind of blowing up his story. Another thing that he says, well, clearly this proves him to be innocent, is that he does not sweat. And apparently Virginia, who was then Virginia Roberts, who's now gotten married, but at the time, Virginia Roberts, she said that essentially he had been sweating all over her on a dance floor. I think it was in Saint-Tropez. But in any event, he said, well, clearly that could not have been me because I don't sweat, because during the Falklands, that was his explanation.
This is the funniest part of it, why he doesn't sweat.
Well, during the Falklands War, he was shot at, right? Like nobody's ever been shot at before. And it created such an overdose of adrenaline in his body that his body stopped sweating. Now, he did mention that he's recently, there were any cameras to catch him lightly perspiring, he did mention that he's recently begun to regain the ability to sweat.
That'd be a good treatment for people who have sweaty palms. Give him a big dose of adrenaline.
He was sweating when he was talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what an explanation. You just have to wonder. And, some more news. I mean, you got to watch the videos and go out there and see some of the quotes from him because it just doesn't ring true, at least not to me. And it sounds like it was a pretty stupid thing for him to have gone on TV to defend himself if that was the defense that he was planning on mounting. But you also want to go out there because, lest you think that this is something only for British tabloids and for out there type segments. Actually, Kevin McCarthy sent a letter to the president of ABC News yesterday, and in that letter was questioning the president of ABC News about the Amy Robach story that we've all probably seen by now, where she came out and said that ABC News killed the story on Jeffrey Epstein, that they had him, in so many words, dead to rights. They had the evidence, they had the pictures, they had multiple witnesses, a lot of backup evidence, and ABC News would not let her run with that. Now, since that's occurred, she's backed down from that, of course, I'm sure under intense management pressure. We've seen one person be fired who was a staffer for ABC News, who apparently was not even the person who released this secret recording. But anyway, Kevin McCarthy, who's the leader of the House Republicans, actually wrote to the president of ABC, and you should go see this letter. But he asked him a number of questions, including, will ABC News provide Congress the interview Ms. Robach conducted with the victim, Virginia Roberts Giuffre? What did ABC News learn about Jeffrey Epstein after Ms. Robach first presented her story to executives? Who was involved in deciding this story was not of public interest, and what were their reasons for so deciding? Can Ms. Robach explain the outside forces she mentioned as potentially responsible for the story not running, and so on and so forth? And essentially the questions are, what did they know and when did they know it? And folks, they must have had a mountain of evidence because a lot of that's come out. A lot of it hasn't come out, but it's not like the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile ring was a secret. That's been known about and talked about for decades. In fact, he was convicted in a sweetheart deal where he pled to one charge of prostitution with a minor back in 2008, but it was well known about even at that time. And, of course, you still have people like Prince Andrew, who subsequent to that in 2010 actually went and stayed with Jeffrey Epstein at his house, which, of course, Prince Andrew attributes to his being too honorable. He was too honorable of a man to have not stayed with his friend and to given him the insult somehow of not staying with him or something like that. And meanwhile, you're thinking, I think this guy, the Duke of York, could probably afford to stay maybe in the Waldorf Astoria or something, keep a little bit of distance if, as he claims, he was there to end the friendship.
Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.